Quick question, what do you think of when you think of Ireland? I think of three things personally: Guinness, potatoes, thanks a lot Keith Lemon, and Aidan McGeady, thanks a lot KSI. And I suppose there is a football league in there as well that I should probably talk about. In my quest to discuss every country in the world and look at football clubs that bit the dust, I'm now making the trip to Ireland, or more specifically, the defunct League of Ireland clubs. Don't worry, there will be a list of Irish Football League clubs that no longer exist in the future, but for now, let's get into this list and discuss all those teams that were in desperate need of a four-leaf clover. Welcome to Good Sport Reviews, and this is 10 League of Ireland football clubs that no longer exist. And while you're here and you're enjoying the video, you see that button, the subscribe button, you got nothing else to do. You sat there just watching the video like a lemon, so just click it. It's right there next to your finger. I'll wait, don't worry, we're not in a rush. Ace, thank you very much. Number 10, Shamrock Rovers FC 2. A lot of clubs in Ireland have suffered a similar kind of fate to Shamrock Rovers B, in the sense of they've been made defunct and reformed on multiple occasions. Shamrock Rovers B were originally formed in the 1920s as the reserve team for Shamrock Rovers and set about achieving success of their own, winning 2 senior division titles and winning a double during the 1939-40 season by winning the LFA Metropolitan Cup and the League Cup. They played in the League of Ireland B division between 1965 and 2005 and won the Blackthorn Trophy, which was awarded to the overall winners of the league in 1968 before winning 3 more league titles over the next 15 years. That's a lot of times I said league. Fast forward to 2013 and the side received permission from the Irish Football Association to compete in the 2014 League of Ireland First Division, in which they replaced Merview United and Salt Hill Devon in the league. However, a poor season followed in which they finished 6th, and they decided that it was no longer financially viable to continue in the league, resulting in them withdrawing, and in 2020 they failed to gain a place in the division despite passing the licensing procedure set in place. Number 9, Cork Celtic FC. With a lot of teams on these lists, we're able to discuss the year which they were formed, but with Cork Celtic FC, it's impossible to talk about as no one knows the exact year of the club's foundation. Let me know in the comments if you do, because all I could find was their earliest appearance being in the FAI Cup in the 1936-37 season. During their lifespan, the club won a multitude of trophies, including 1 League of Ireland in 1947, 4 Top 4 Cups, and 6 Munster Senior trophies, and were a constant title contender in the 1950s, finishing as runners-up multiple times and reaching several cup finals, including the FAI Cup final in 1953, which they lost 2-1 in a match replay following a 2-2 draw in the All-Cork match earlier on. One reason, however, that this club is well known is the incredible history of former players that have walked through their doors. In 1974, with a team which included Bobby Tambling, who played for Chelsea from 1959 to 1970, the club won their only League of Ireland title under their manager Paul O'Donovan, and from there the club only got stronger, signing West Ham legend Geoff Hurst and even English footballing icon George Best, who he didn't have a great time. He only played 3 games before having his contract terminated after he failed to show up for a game, but we don't talk about that. Sadly, in the mid-1970s, the club started to decline, and following issue with the side's ownership structure, their home ground of Turner Cross started to fall apart and was deemed unfit ahead of the 1978-79 season before being expelled from the division in the summer of 1979. Number 8, Kildare County FC. Formed in 2002 by members of Newbridge Town FC, Kildare County were entered into the League of Ireland First Division after St Francis withdrew just 2 weeks before the start of the 2001-2 season, with the club appointing Dermot Keeley as their first manager and John Kill as his assistant, with them making their official debut in a friendly against Bray Wanderers, which ended 2-2. 1 month later, the club made their competitive debut against Limerick in a First Division Cup game, which they won 2-0, progressing them in the contest. While this all sounds positive, however, the side were always teetering on the edge, as between 2005 and 2009, the club finished in the bottom half of the League of Ireland First Division table every season, and in 2008, they finished at the very bottom, meaning they were relegated to the A Championship after losing the relegation playoff to Merview United. And in 2009, the side withdrew from the league, with the last fixture they played being on Saturday the 7th of November 2009, with the entire club's board and manager resigning, leaving the players unpaid and being owed around €22,000, and the club's secretary Stephen McGuinness having to operate the ticket sales and even the canteen due to the issues, with them officially folding later that year. Number 7, Fearon's Athletic. One thing a lot of defunct Irish football clubs have struggled with is short histories, and Fearon's Athletic are another example of that, only existing for 4 years from 1936 to 1940. They were entered into the Leinster Senior League Senior Division, that's a long name, for the 1936-37 season and won the title at the first time of asking, as well as reaching the FAI Cup final, narrowly losing to Longford Town in that match. Following this success, the club changed their name to Teanure Athletic ahead of the 1937-38 season, and that year they went on to achieve further success after winning the FAI Intermediate Cup, smashing Cork Bohemians 4-1 in the final at Dallymouth Park. However, after this is where things started to unravel, as in 1939 the side merged with Brideville FC of the League of Ireland, and despite initially being registered as Brideville and Teanure Athletic Football Club, the team ceased operations after being consumed by the larger entity of the two, and they officially disbanded and sold their home ground shortly after in the 1940s. Number 6, Jacobs FC. Originally playing in the Leinster Junior League alongside Shamrock Rovers in the 1914-15 season, Jacobs FC most notable moment was in the IFA Juniors Cup final in 1920, when the club lost to a side representing the Royal Irish Rifles, after which a group of the Jacobs FC players were actually found guilty of invading the opposing team's dressing room, with 2 of the players receiving lengthy bans from the LFA. The club won 4 Leinster Senior Leagues during their lifespan and finished as runners-up 3 times in the FAI Intermediate Cup, with the 1922 final ending in a loss for the side, who lost the match to eventual treble winners St James's Gate, so they were certainly involved in the trophy scene. But that doesn't mean everything went perfect, with the club finishing bottom of the league table for 3 consecutive seasons and failing to regain election into the division at the end of the 1931-32 season alongside Brideville, meaning the league went from having 12 teams to just 10. They rejoined the Leinster Senior League following this and won several more trophies and FAI Intermediate Cups before disbanding at some point in the mid-1960s. Number 5, Sporting Fingal FC. Despite only existing for 4 years between 2007 and 2011, Sporting Fingal actually achieved quite a lot, winning the 2010 Futsal Cup as well as the 2009 FAI Cup, which earned them qualification into the 2010-11 Europa League, and oh, we will get to that, don't you worry. Originally founded as a community football club, the side were formed after a joint initiative between the Fingal County Council and property developer Gary Gannon, which would see Gannon become the club's majority shareholder while the council maintained a 26% stake in the club. They were officially launched in February of 2008 and set up ambitions of building up an academy and a stadium for fans of the side, but this is as good as things got. Yes, they won the previously mentioned 2010 FAI Futsal Cup after a 4-2 victory over the Blue Magic and entered the Emerald Futsal League, in which they had a great 2009 season, gaining promotion to the 2010 Premier Division, but their 2010-11 Europa League campaign spelled the end for the side. They played Mighty Mo in the second qualifying round and were defeated 6-4 on aggregate, and after finishing 4th in the 2010 Premier Division, they once again qualified for the competition, but the lack of finances provided by the council and poor fan attendance meant they went bankrupt before they could re-enter the European stage, and they disbanded in 2010, being replaced by St Patrick's Athletic, who were eliminated in the 3rd qualifying round. Number 4, Dolphin FC. Now, if you are a long-term subscriber to this channel, you know in the 10th Scottish football clubs that no longer exist video I did a few months ago, I called Scone FC Scone or Scone FC, like the good-natured moron that I am, and said that it is the least intimidating name possible. Well, step right up, Dolphin FC. You cannot possibly be called anything else, and I swear, if it's called Dolphin or something like along those lines, I'm going to set myself on fire. Formed of all things by a group of butchers in 1921, the same year the League of Ireland was formed, the club was called Dolphin FC because it first played in the Dolphins Barn area of Dublin and had around a 10-year lifespan, playing in the League of Ireland between 1930 and 1937, a league they won once during the 1934-35 season, which made them the 6th club to win the Irish League title. They played in 2 successive FAI Cup finals in 1932 and 1933, and they also played in the Leinster Senior Cup 3 seasons in a row, as well as growing a popular fan base in the process, which got to witness them finish 2nd in the 1936-37 season, as well as seeing 3 of their players score 56 of the team's 66 goals that season. However, following this successful campaign, they resigned from the League of Ireland and were replaced by Limerick FC. And speaking of, number 3, Limerick FC. There is a debate this side is the biggest of the Irish teams to go bust, operating between 1937 and 2020 and winning 2 League of Ireland titles in 1960 and 1980, 2 FAI Cups, 3 League of Ireland Cups and 13 Munster Senior Cups. But that doesn't change the fact that they're as dead as disco. The club went through many reinventions through its lifespan, changing its name from Limerick to Limerick United to Limerick City to Limerick 37, while still remaining the only representation of the city since 1937 and actually competing in Europe on no less than 6 occasions. They entered the 1960-61 European Cup, losing to Young Boys 9-2 on aggregate. Instead, stop, he's already dead meme here, before entering the European Cup Winners' Cup 2 times, losing to CSKA Chernozem and Torino respectively. They also lost to Real Madrid in the 1980-81 European Cup and even Southampton in the 1981-82 UEFA Cup, where they eventually picked up a 1-1 draw at the Den before going out on aggregate 4-1. Sadly, despite this tepid European history, the side were in a whirlwind because in the late 2010s, Pat O'Sullivan announced his resignation and decided to sell the club, and amassing debts of up to €490,000 in 2019, which saw them lose their League of Ireland licence, meaning they had to withdraw their applications for the league and rebrand once again to Treaty United, who were demoted into the League of Ireland First Division ahead of the 2021 season. Number 2, Reds United FC. Now, yeah, when you look at the big picture, Reds United FC only played 1 season in the League of Ireland back in 1935-36, but their origin is fascinating to say the least. After Shelbourne were fined in early 1934 by the FAI for poaching players from nearby clubs, Shelbourne were suspended from the League of Ireland for the upcoming season, and members of the club's management committee were restricted from managing any club affiliated with the FAI, meaning the entire club had to be removed from the system and were instead replaced by the newly founded Reds United, who successfully applied to join the Leinster Senior League that following year and actually won the division, ending as champions and competing in the 1934-35 FAI Cup as well. They made their League of Ireland debut soon afterwards and ended the season in 4th place before this loophole in the system had to end, as a returning Shelbourne United meant that the people who founded Reds United, aka the former members of the Shelbourne side, had to return to their old jobs, and Reds United resigned from their spot in the league to make way for the previously banned side. I mean, sure, okay. And number 1, Dublin City FC. After an internal split in 1999 took place within Hope Farm Everton, Dublin City FC were founded, originally known as Farm Fingal, before Mercy made the switch. The club was one of the largest junior football clubs in Ireland, and their senior team played in the League of Ireland from 1970 up until the 1990s, before all the drama changed the club's name to Dublin City, and following this they went on to do quite well in their short lifespan, gaining promotion twice, as well as winning the 2003 League of Ireland First Division and actually defeating Irish juggernaut Shamrock Rovers in the 2005 promotion playoff final to gain the latter of the two. But this didn't mean anything behind the scenes was perfect. During their 7-year existence, the club went through 5 home grounds and failed to cultivate a significant fan following, which drew low attendance, and the financial difficulties stemming from this meant on the 19th of July 2006, the club ceased all trading operations and resigned from the league system, with their results being expunged from the season they had just been a part of. This drew widespread criticism from several players and former Irish legends like Damien Richardson and Roddy Collins, saying it's poor that the club couldn't complete the obligations to the division and play their remaining matches, stating that the club was poorly ran. And honestly, yeah, it's hard to disagree. And that's our list. Let me know in the comments down below if there's any sides that I have missed out, and please make sure to click like and subscribe, and let's try and get to 3,000 by the end of the year. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.